What's up? What's up? What's up, you guys? Happy Sunday. Well, we are finally here. It took us an extra, week to get here, but we are here at the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion. Listen. First of all, I don't even know how they're going to squeeze 3 episodes out of this season, but y'all know that's what they're going to do. So we have 3 episodes, and let's get into it. Look, y'all. First of all, they were 2.5 hours late. Listen, I'm sick of this. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm really sick of this Housewives late situation. It's almost like they think it's cute. At the end of the day, they need to start finding these women or something. Because, I mean, listen, everybody's time is valuable, right? It's not just Andy sitting there waiting on them for 2.5 hours, because Andy is ready. Andy is always ready, right? You have cameramen, you have the people on the people there at the facility, whatever facility that they're renting. You have the people. They literally can't go home until we're done filming the reunion. And if we're starting 2.5 hours late, that means that these people have been sitting around waiting on y'all for 2.5 hours. They need to find them, because I think it's absolutely ridiculous at this point. 15, 20 minutes, maybe. Porsha was literally asleep. She was literally asleep. And she was 2 hours late? Bullshit. So I know that sounds crazy, but that's how I felt off the break. Then Porsha pretended like she didn't know Britt wasn't coming. I think Porsha knew, because remember, Porsha and Britt are friends now. We've seen them on Instagram. You could tell at the reunion that Porsha is cool with Britt and don't really mess with Kelly. You could see who was who and who was friends and what was what. So the fact that and let's not even talk. Let me rewind real quick. Let's not even talk about the fact that Drew didn't even get there until 10:15. If at 11:30 everybody was 2.5 hours late, that means that Drew, you were late even getting there. Forget being ready for glam. I mean, getting in glam and being ready. It'd be different if you showed up dressed and ready to go. So again, disrespectful all the way across the board. Whatever. All right, so I don't believe for 1 minute that Porsha didn't know Britt was coming. I believe when she said she talked to Britt the night before, you knew Britt ass wasn't coming the night before. Now, if I'm Porsha, I'm playing dumb too, because that ain't my place to tell it. Like, I feel like that's not my place to go and tell Andy Britt's not coming, especially if me and Britt are cool. Especially if me and Britt are sorry, y'all. What's going on with this thing? Okay. Especially if me and Britt are cool. Like, I wouldn't tell it either. But I believe Porsha knew. Especially when she said she had talked to her the night before. Girl, you knew she wasn't in New York. Like, you knew she wasn't in New York, girl. Anyway. So we get to the reunion, child. Now I'm gonna say this. Now that I'm seeing all of the dresses under the lights with everything, Porsha's dress is my favorite. Porsha's dress. They filmed it in Atlanta. Oh, they filmed it in Atlanta. Okay, well, that's a little bit different, but still, I still think she knew. I still think she knew, though. But I didn't know because they usually film it in New York, so I didn't know they were in Atlanta. I still think she knew. Damn, they make the Salt Lake City ladies fly all the way to New York, but Atlanta get to stay home? Damn, okay. Anyway, Well, I guess there's so many. Well, no, there's anyway. It don't matter. Neither here nor there. I lost my train of thought. I wrote Brit not there. Oh, Porsha's dress is my favorite. I think Porsha's dress was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Now that I've seen Phaedra's dress up close, it's not as bad as it looked in that picture. Because in that picture, that didn't look like it was sheer in that picture to me. I didn't think it was sheer. It looked like it wasn't sheer. So the dress didn't look. I still didn't like it. I didn't like them earrings. I didn't like that headdress. I didn't like none of it. But it didn't look as bad. It didn't look as bad. But anyway, hey everyone, I don't think the women were late. I think production was scrambling when they discovered Brit wasn't coming. I'm going to say this, Phil. I still think the women were late, but I do agree with you that they probably changed the start time. I agree with you on that. I do think that they may have adjusted the start time and told the ladies, hey, take your time. Instead of starting at 9, we're going to start at 10. But I still think they were late, in my opinion. I still think they were late. You think Porsha was beautiful. You didn't like the dress. I did. I really did like Porsha's dress. Drew's dress was too small. I didn't like that. She was giving me very much. Remember that year Kenya had that dress where it looked like her breast was just going to pop out? I think it was last season. I think it was last reunion. Kenya's dress was just horrible to me. That's what Drew's dress was giving. Y'all know I'm no fashionista, so I just go by what I see, what I like, what I don't like. Okay. Yeah. So there's that. Everybody else, yeah, all right, yeah. Yeah, that blue dress, purple dress, whatever color it was, purple or blue, yeah, the uniform. So Drew, I think it would have been better if it just looked like it was too small. I still didn't like it, but I think I would have liked it better. I did like Shamea's dress. Wasn't crazy about that piece up top. I feel like that piece up top could have been gone. I don't feel like it was needed, but I did like the dress, and I thought it looked really beautiful on her skin. I thought it looked really, really beautiful on her skin. Yeah, it was a lot of breasts going on, Corey. It was a lot of titties. It was a lot of titties going on. Absolutely. Anyway, so that's pretty much all I have. Like I said, I ain't no fashionista, child. That's pretty much all. I ain't about to go line by line and go through the hair, the makeup, the outfit, child. It is what it is. Now, Drew said that Brit called her and said that she was going to sue her as it relates to the situation with Kenya. And I found it very interesting that Drew was like, I don't know. She said something she read on the blogs. Girl, it wasn't something she read on the blogs. It was what Porsha said on her YouTube channel. The blogs probably picked it up, but Porsha said it. Don't y'all remember that Porsha said that Kenya, that Drew gave Kenya that information? Yeah, I definitely didn't like Drew's hair, that baby hair situation. That was giving very Kelly in her confessional. I didn't like it. I was like, right, but didn't Brit say the pictures weren't her? Right, child, listen. But I found it interesting that Drew tried to be like, oh, something on the blogs. Girl, it came from Porsha. So, Brit, you were going to sue Drew because Drew allegedly gave Kenya the information? That wasn't you. Oh, okay, girl. Anyway, so then I wrote in my notes. This goes back to what you just said, Phil. I literally wrote it in my notes. They are killing time. Why do we care about Portia's headpiece? I mean, Phaedra's headpiece. I literally wrote that in my notes. Killing time. Because I agree. I feel like once they knew Kenya wasn't coming, so they had already probably adjusted the time based on that. But definitely Brit not coming. I feel like they had to adjust some things, some segments, sometimes, how they were going to, and so I feel like what people don't understand is these things are a script. Having been to a couple of reunions, even though they were web reality reunions, And they weren't like, major network production reunions. I've been to a few reunions. I was supposed to go to one this weekend, but I didn't go. Anyway, and this is a script. They literally have it scripted out. Introduction, 10 minutes, such and such, 5 minutes. Playing the montage, Porsha's montage, 5 minutes. Ask Porsha about this. Ask Porsha about that. Ask Porsha about that. Okay, moving on to Phaedra. Like, it is literally a script, and they know how much time they're going to spend on each thing. Sometimes do they let stuff go? Sure, they let stuff rock and roll, because if they're going to get to the T, because of course they're going to edit, but they literally have a script. And so with a whole person being missing, yes, now you have to adjust that script. So I do feel like they were killing time, because why do we care about Porsha's headpiece? And she was like, it's my ode to Jab Jab. Child. Then he asked about, of course, the scene is supposed to be Grenada, so they asked about that or whatever. But I was like, yeah, they're literally killing time. So I agree with what you were saying, Phil. Okay, so then we start off with Porsha. The montage starts with Porsha. And they get into Porsha's divorce. Porsha made a comment about her and Kelly and how her and Kelly were both going through a divorce. And she said something about, it was just like her divorce. And Kelly and Drew were sitting next to each other. And they were like, who is the her? Like, are they talking about you? Is she talking about your divorce or my divorce? Like, whose divorce are they talking about? Because I told you this show could have been called Divorce Sisters. Because it seemed like everybody on the show was getting a divorce or just had a divorce or getting ready to go through a divorce, child. Y'all was trying to have a divorce because y'all was sure trying to put Angela in divorce court. But anyway, that's another conversation, child. So Kelly was like, well, girl, I don't really feel like you can compare your divorce to my divorce because, like, I was married for 11 years. You was married for 11 months. I don't think it's the same. Then Porsha talked about the house and being able to film in the house. And she explained the whole situation with Lord, I can't get it out. The house and the prenup and stuff like that. And basically, I need y'all to be listening. Because, some of y'all almost nitwit. Well, I ain't gonna say almost. I'm halfway caught up. I've recorded episode. I've recorded my review for episode 2. I'm uploading that tonight. I'm gonna record. I've watched episode 3, and then tomorrow I'll watch episodes 4 and 5, and then I'll get episode 6. So, but I'm getting there, nitwit. I'm getting there, boo. So, I find it very interesting. Again, y'all have to listen to what Porsha said. Porsha said the house was so important to her because that's the only thing she got. Did y'all hear that? Porsha said the house was so important to her because that's all she got. And what I mean by that's all she got, because I know some of y'all are going to be like, well, the judge did say that she was going to get spousal support for XYZ amount of months. Baby, that spousal support, let's assume for a minute that Simon is going to pay that spousal support, which I done already told y'all I don't think he is. But let's assume for a minute that that Simon is going to pay it. It's only supposed to be for like what? A certain amount of months. It's not even a full year, I don't think. I don't even think her spousal support is a full year. So spousal support, okay, he's going to pay her lawyer's fees. And he has to keep up the house on, he has to keep up on the house. He has to, keep up with the maintenance and stuff on the house. But that's only until what? 2027? Okay, it's 14 months. Thank you, Nubian. So for 14 months, she gets spousal support. Baby, that's a little over a year. That ain't shit. It ain't, I'm about to live for the rest of my life kind of money. Okay. And he has to keep up maintenance on the house, I think, for the same amount of time. I think it's like 2027 or something. I forgot what the year is. But when we're talking about divorces, girl, that's what you walked away. And okay, I mean, you got to keep the car that he gifted you, but that's not like it ain't. Y'all remember how many cars Simon had? Y'all remember? Go back to y'all remember when Porsha had her show? Y'all remember that fleet of cars? Now, whether those cars are real or not, whether they were leased or they were real cars, I don't know. But did y'all see how many cars Simon had? Porsha walked away with one. Do y'all know how many houses Simon allegedly has? Porsha walked away with that one. So for all the people that keep acting like Porsha wants something, Simon can't drive nothing here in the U.S. anyway. What you mean he can't drive? When he was here, he could drive. When he was living in the United States, he could drive in the United States. Couldn't he? Why couldn't he? Something you know I don't know? I mean, he can't drive nothing here in the United States because he ain't here no more. But I'm just saying, like, anyway, I don't want to dwell on that because I don't want the Porsha people to come after me. Oh, you mean because he ain't here no more? Okay. Yeah, I don't want the Porsha people to come after me. So let me know. I ain't going to dwell on that. Okay. She got more than enough for a year that didn't even last, for a marriage that didn't even last a year. I'm not saying she didn't make out. I'm just saying people keep acting like, anyway, moving right along because I don't want to get stuck on Porsha. Okay. Then it came up, they had the argument back and forth about Shamea. Did Shamea introduce Porsha to Simon? Did or not? And they were like, Porsha was Shamea said it. Porsha is doing her let her live. So when they played the tape back, that is not what Shamea said. And y'all know, I know some people be like, you nitpicking when it comes to words. I'm not nitpicking. That's not what Shamea said. What Shamea said was, I was there when they met. I was there while they were dating. She did not say she introduced them. Those are two totally different things. To say I was there when they met could mean when she decided to slide into his DMs, I was sitting next to her on the couch. When she said she was going to slide in his DMs, me and her were together. Like, that's what that could mean. That don't mean that she introduced them. Now, what Shamea also said was, me and Gerald told you to make sure that the money was good, that everything was on the up and up, and that everything was there and everything wasn't there. Okay? Now, what Porsha said was it took them 10 months to get that prenup. So, you know, if something needed to be addressed, it could have been addressed. I agree. If something needed to be addressed, I mean, in 10 months' time, I do feel like due diligence was done. I just feel like that. Okay. Now, I don't know how hard. Somebody just posted a screenshot from 2021 Porsha hashtag matchmaker when she responded to Shamea posting a pic of her and Simon. Well, here's what I think. And Andy brought this up. I think that was the lie that they agreed they were going to tell. I think that was the lie that they thought I think that's the lie they were going to tell. If you go back to Porsha's show, Porsha and Simon couldn't even get their lie together. Porsha said that Simon slid into her DMs. Simon said Porsha slid into his DMs. So they couldn't even get their lie together about who did what and when, where, and how. So the reality is, I think to take some of the heat off of Porsha when all the shit first came out that they were dating, I think that's what they did. I think the agreement was we're going to say that that Shamea hooked us up so it doesn't look as bad. I really think that's what the lie was. But yeah, exactly. Grown woman, they all lying. Honestly, and here's the reality of it, y'all. I know Porsha and Shamea aren't friends anymore, or at least right now they're not friends. Here's the reality. They were friends for a very long time, and I feel like both of them have lied for each other. I just feel like both of them have lied for each other. And just like we're going to get to this alliance in a minute. But let's talk about Porsha and Drew. The minute they brought up the situation with Drew allegedly sleeping with or propositioning the hot dog man for beats, And Porsha said, well, I don't have the text messages. I knew then it was a lie. And let me tell you why I knew it was a lie. Y'all know that listen, when it comes to Housewives, y'all know that we function on receipts. You was showing everybody that text message while y'all was filming. You met with Ralph and showed it to him. You showed it to Shamea. You talked about that text message. Now all of a sudden you don't have it. Girl, it's in your phone. What you do? You deleted it off your phone? You knew you were coming to the reunion. You had to know this was going to be a question that somebody was going to ask. The text message about Drew allegedly effing for beats, you had to know that was going to come up. You had to know that was going to be a question. So explain to me why you talking about something. Well, I don't have that text. I knew then. I said then it's a lie. Because that ain't hard receipt. That's not a hard receipt. Shamea is the biggest liar in the cast. I said it from the start. She shouldn't be on the show. Shamea is the biggest liar on that stage. Oh, wow. Okay, Phil. Tell us how you really feel. Tell us how you really feel. Symmetry says, I feel like Shamea is saying a lot while Porsha has tried to not say anything. Hold on. Negative about Shamea. I don't really think that Shamea was a good friend either. Okay. Do y'all think Porsha and Shamea are not friends because of the show or for the show? Ooh, good question. Good question. I think Porsha, I think two things were supposed to happen this season. Porsha was supposed to bring in her happily ever after. It was absolutely supposed to be the Porsha show and her fabulous life with her African king and all of the money, and she was going to be flaunting her, $10 million home, driving her, her Rolls Royce, flying in the private jet to all these different places. Like, I absolutely believe that was the story. That was going to be Porsha's big comeback, right? I also think that Shamea coming on the show full time as a full time peach holder. I think Porsha felt like Shamea was going to do this. It was like, okay, you have a new position, but you're going to play the same role. You're a full-time peach holder now, but you're going to do the same thing you always did. You're going to carry my water, right? That's what you're going to do. And I think that from that very first episode with Shamea's birthday party and her getting that car and Porsha showing up 3 hours late, I think that set the stage from the very beginning. What's up, Chloe? Hey, you looked beautiful this weekend, girl. You looked absolutely beautiful, okay? And I will be there. I'm sorry I couldn't make it to the reunion, but I will be there next month. So I'm going to hit you up when I'm in town. I'm going to be there next month. When Porsha act like she didn't know Shamea's voice, I was done. Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, Porsha, you wanted Shamea to play the same position, and Shamea let it be known from the beginning, whether people ended up liking Shamea or not, because by the end of the season, y'all know Shamea was getting on my nerves too. So whether you like Shamea or not, Shamea definitely put her footprint down in that very first episode and was let it be known that I'm not here to carry Porsha's water. She's my friend, and I'm going to support her, and I'm going to have her back, but I'm not here to carry her water. And Porsha expected that to be the same. That's my opinion. Now, everybody can feel how they feel, but that's my opinion. I did. I saw it. You looked like I said, you looked beautiful. You really did, Chloe. You really did. Now, I don't know what happened I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, girl. But yeah, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there for the wedding. So I'll hit you up. I definitely will hit you up while I'm in town. That's why I didn't do the reunion. It was just too much back to back to come this week and then turn around and come back next month, baby. It was too much. Okay. I ain't rich. I ain't got it like that. So, but anyway, so that's my 2 cents right there. That's how I felt about that. So that's a good question. That was a good question. Now, told Shamea not to. Okay. So then it came up about asking Drew about her sleeping with the hot dog man, Dennis, and all of that good stuff. And Porsha was like, well, I told Shamea not to ask that question. And Shamea was like, what? Like, you absolutely did not. You absolutely did not. Let me say this. Once again, that's when I already wasn't believing Porsha. But that's definitely when I stopped believing Porsha. Porsha, you absolutely wanted Shamea to ask that question. You absolutely wanted Shamea to ask that question. And here's why I know you wanted Shamea to ask that question. Because you brought it up, all of that. You were the one that broke the fourth. You were the one that broke the fourth wall. And you were the one that brought up the whole thing about Drew filming with Dennis. You opened the door. So, like, you absolutely wanted Shamea to ask that question because you wanted the conversation to come up. You wanted that conversation to happen. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. So the minute Porsha was like, I did, and then she tried to act all innocent. I didn't want her to ask that question. You a lie. You a lie. So then Porsha gives Drew props on her album, tells her that the album was beautiful, and then, you know, it sounded good or whatever. And Drew was like, you know, at the end of the day, I've done nothing but be on the up and up. Like, I can't, if I'm filming in the studio and they're filming and Dennis is there, that's not premeditated. Dennis is in the studio because we were legit doing business together. We were legit doing business together. So he's there because I'm in the studio. So Andy was like, well, Porsha, having watched the season back and realizing that it was all on the up and up, there was no mess, no bullshit, that they really truly were just working together. How do you feel now? Like, how does that make you feel now? So Porsha gonna get up and go over and give Drew a hug. And you could tell that it was performative. And here's why I feel like it was performative. Because you asked, are we in our light? Because you absolutely wanted that to make it into the show. You wanted to make sure that y'all were in the right light so they wouldn't have to edit it out, so it would make it into the show. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. You know that you tried to turn this into a whole storyline. You tried to make it a whole storyline with Drew. You tried to make Drew look bad. Now listen, y'all know Drew get on my nerves, and y'all know I don't always agree with what Drew does and says. But on this one, I never went down that road. I was always like, come on, Porsha, you doing too much. You are really dragging this. You are really trying to make this your storyline because you didn't have a storyline because your storyline fell through. So here you are getting up and you're going to walk across the stage. And before you even really hug Drew, are we in our light? Are we in the light? So you care more about whether you were in the right lighting for the filming than you cared about being sincere and giving that woman an apology. Because at the end of the day, Andy pulled your card. Andy was like, so after watching it and you realize there's no there, don't you feel like you owe Drew an apology? Like, how do you feel now? Right? So there's that. That's that on that. Okay. Then this whole thing about Kelly asking Porsha, why you still that woman's husband? Okay. Now Simon says you have no storyline. Ooh, speaking of albums with Shamea, y'all cutting up in this chat. Y'all are cutting up in this chat. My goodness. Listen, there's 180 of y'all in here. If y'all haven't done so already, hit that like button, please. And thank you. And if you're new, go on and hit that subscribe button. Do that. Appreciate you. So, the newbie alliance. So, allegedly, Porsha says, well, there was, or who was it? Kelly said there was an alliance. Shamea said that the alliance was Kelly, Britt, her, and Porsha. Porsha was like, it wasn't me. I think alliance. And again, Porsha, you be saying stuff. You say stuff that make me not believe what's coming out your mouth, right? So instead of just saying, what are you talking about? I wasn't a part of no alliance because I wasn't a newbie. I was an OG. I was coming back. I was returning. I didn't need to be a part of an alliance. I know how to hold my own. If you had said that, Porsha, I'd have been like, go, girl. But for you to be like, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't be a part of an alliance because I think alliances kill shows. I mean, it did it to this show right here. Alliance kills cast members. Says one half of the freaking frat. Right, it's an allegiance. My bad. Thank you. Thank you to informed. It's an allegiance. Let me tell you something. I don't believe you, Porsha. I believe you very much were a part of it. And here's why. 2 reasons why I believe you were a part of it, right? Reason number 1, I believe you were a part of it is because the way you denied it just made me think you were lying. Reason number 2 is because, again, when this season started, you and Shamea were friends. You and Shamea were best friends. You think that Shamea was moving and you didn't know nothing about it and you wasn't in on it or a part of it? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I feel like she picked with Shamea and Drew due to her not actually having a story we're talking about. Absolutely. Absolutely, Chloe. Absolutely. That is my opinion. Okay. What about her and Phaedra and what happened with Candy? Right. That's what I'm saying. You were one half of freaking frat. Hello. One half of freak in the frat. So no, girl, y'all absolutely had an alliance. And I said it from the beginning. Did I not? Did I not say from the beginning that it was clear that conversations were had? And thank you for the super chat. It's clear that conversations were had. And it was clear that Britt had every intention of going after Kenya. And Kelly was going after Porsha. But y'all saw how fast Kelly pivoted off of Porsha. She came at Porsha. She made her comment at dinner with Shamea. Shamea took it back to Porsha. Her and Porsha had argument in the first scene at Shamea's party. And then in the very next episode, they met for lunch and made up and all is well. Come on, y'all. Y'all, we've been doing this too long. We were doing this too long. People get over stuff. I understand that. And yes, people even tend to get over stuff kind of quickly. But come on, y'all. We've been doing this too long. Y'all know, like I know, Kelly got over it in one episode. Exactly. I think you're saying, how was she a part of the alliance if Kelly was supposed to take her down? Kelly wasn't taking her down. Kelly was giving herself a storyline. She came at Porsha. She did what she was trying to do in that first episode. She came at Porsha. She said, let's be clear. She said what everybody wanted to hear. She asked Porsha the question that everybody wanted to ask Porsha. So, to be honest, I kind of almost feel like that was part of that Porsha was in on that too. Let's go on and get it out the way. Let's go on and, I can't talk about it because I'm going through a divorce. I can't say but so much anyway. So let's go ahead and get it out the way. We're going to talk about it in the first episode. And then me and her going to make nice in the second episode. And we're going to move right along. I'm not saying that's what happened, but it's feasible. It's a reasonable thing. You see what I'm saying? Right. After Kelly asked that question, that shit didn't come up the rest of the season. Except for when Angela threw it at Porsha. And the only reason why Angela threw it at Porsha is because Porsha said something about sleeping with her husband. And Angela was like, well, how about, how's Simon doing? You know what I mean? Like, it was out there and then we didn't talk about it anymore. That's the one storyline that everybody been on Porsha about for 2 years. 2 years. And we only talk about it for one episode? Really? Interesting, right? Moving right along. Okay. Ooh, those are the only notes I had. Lord, I stopped taking notes. Did anything else happen? Shit. Oh, never mind. I wrote the notes on the back. I was like, where the rest of my notes? So then we bring up the whole, okay, we have Britt and Kelly and their friendship. Y'all, I still think this is dumb. I still think this is a dumb reason to fall out with somebody that's supposed to be somebody you were cool with over a stylist. Now I understand that it could have been a situation where the stylist was working on Britt before working on Kelly, or whatever the situation is. But it just seems to me like, Kelly, you really sticking by this story about the stylist. You really sticking by the story. And let me say something else. And I know I'm kind of all over the place now because I'm sort of getting to the end of my notes. But when they brought up Kelly owing the rent and being sued on the rent on that on the second location for her chicken and waffles, and they brought up her extra, and she was like, well, I mean, I was paying my lawyer's fees. I mean, that's kind of why, I haven't been able to pay the rent, and that's why the location hasn't opened yet. But yet it's still, you have a whole team, and you said you had a team even before you came on the show. And you said that, we saw your dog getting a damn dog facial. Like, girl, your lifestyle, like, if you owe me that kind of money, I would be pissed off. Like, listen, I'd be pissed off when somebody owe me money and they order an extra appetizer at dinner. And I'll be like, I know they didn't just order no extra appetizer and they owe me $50. I better get my money. Now, and I understand we all do it. We all spend money in one place when we really could be paying a bill, or we could be doing something else with it. But you sitting here bragging about your team and this and your squad and your this and your this and your that. And then in the next sentence, when Andy asks you, well, why you owe these people this money down at your second location for your chicken and waffles? Well, I mean, I was paying for a divorce, but you had money to pay for everything else. You said you had a glam squad even before the show. Girl, you had money for everything else. The allegiance they had makes what they did to the other women even worse. Coming after Drew and Angela for no reason is nasty work. Karma is a bitch. Thank you, Phil. Baby Phil on one tonight. Y'all know how Phil get. Phil is on one tonight. These teams are not exclusive to one. Exactly. That's how they make their money. Like, no, they're not limited to one person because that's how they make their money. Now, one person might be their VIP client, like the client that gets the first call. But trust and believe, they're not sitting at home, filing their fingernails, waiting for that VIP client to call. Like, they still working. You know what I mean? They still have other clients. So it's just weird. And like, all of the ladies have said that they have shared stylists before. Hell, Porsha and Drew was sharing a hairstylist on this season. And they said that sometimes there's been issues. Like, it has definitely caused issues in the past, but not to this extent. So I don't know. The Kelly Britt thing, I think that you just realized Britt was a liar and that you hooked your wagon to the wrong horse and you were trying to switch teams in the middle of the game. I know I mixed up all sorts of analogies in that, but I really think that's what it boiled down to, in my opinion. In my opinion, I honestly think that that's what it boiled down to. You just realized that you was playing on the wrong team. Now, that's my opinion. Kim, me and you on the same page today, boo. We agreeing today. Me and Kim, we like me and Phil. We don't always agree. I still love my Kim, though. But we don't always agree. But me and Kim, we together tonight. We together tonight. So, listen. Britt, Kelly, and this whole abortion situation. I need y'all to help me. And I'm not being funny. I'm being so serious right now. Because on one hand, is Kelly saying that it's not true? She's saying that, she said, my body, my choice, which it is. she said that she didn't have one, but that she had health scares with all of her children. And after she had the twins, she decided to have her tubes tied, which means that she couldn't get pregnant even if she wanted to. But then she turned around and said that she never had that conversation with Britt, that one of her stylists told Britt that story. But if it didn't happen, what's the story? Now, let me be clear. I agree with you, Cahoots. Let me be clear. I don't feel like Kelly has to tell anybody anything, especially when it comes to a very personal and private decision that she may or may not have made. I agree with that. I 100% agree that Kelly didn't need to tell us nothing. Let me full stop. But because it came up and the question was asked, okay, Nitwit, that sounds right. Nitwit said, I took it as she had one, but not while she was married and the stylist knew. I think that's probably what it is. I feel like she's probably had one, but it wasn't while she was married, and she didn't tell Britt, but the stylist knew, and the stylist told Britt. I can believe that. I can believe that. I thought she said she didn't have one while she was with her husband. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. And let's be clear, she ain't got to tell us nothing. I mean, that's a very personal decision that a woman makes. And even when the man is a part of the decision, if the man is part of the decision, it's still ultimately the woman's decision to make. But I think that's kind of what happened. Yeah, I think that's kind of what happened. I still think that was, on one hand, I think that was effed up for Britt to bring up. And then some people might say, well, you can't tell nobody how to fight. So, y'all know how I feel about that. Okay. Okay, I kind of already talked about this. Okay. They talk about Kelly having a bodyguard, and she talked about the protective order. Again, I believe that Kelly's marriage was abusive, so I'm not going to get into whether she needs one or doesn't need one, got a protective order, didn't get a protective order, what you need in order to get a protective order. We know that anybody can run down to the courthouse and get a temporary restraining order, right? And then you have a certain amount of weeks, depending on the jurisdiction, weeks, days, whatever, to come back to court, submit your paperwork, submit your proof, and then the judge makes a decision on a permanent one that may last for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. Again, depending on the jurisdiction that you live in. So Kelly getting a restraining order that has lasted an extended period of time tells me that she went into court and was able to show the judge enough that the judge gave her a long-term restraining order. A TRO is something that doesn't necessarily last a long time. So, in my opinion, I feel like there's some legitimacy there. And again, this is how you know that Porsha is on that bullshit, in my opinion, because at first Porsha was like, well, no, none of us are shocked that she has a bodyguard because we know the reason why. And then Porsha tried to be like, well, I mean, well, there are both versions of the story. Well, there are two versions of the story. There's the version of the story that says this, and this. But then I heard that your husband was saying, come on, Porsha. Come on, Porsha. Coming from the woman that's literally at the time of the filming of this was going through a divorce where your husband was trolling you online every chance he got. Come on, Porsha. Like, I feel like that wasn't necessary. I felt like you could have just left it at, we all knew why she had a bodyguard, and left it there. Because at the end of the day, you really don't know. And although I don't think Kelly is truthful about every damn thing, I believe what Kelly's saying about this marriage. I do. Why is Ralph getting so much time? Child, that's how you know they ain't had nothing else to talk about. You showing clips from Ralph podcast from the basement YouTube channel, child. Right, Sean. He literally got arrested in the courtroom. So I just felt like that. I didn't like that. I didn't like that Porsha did that. I didn't like that Porsha did that. Then we transitioned into Angela. And they brought up the whole Angela, Porsha, what Porsha said about Angela's husband. And Porsha was like, I've already apologized. I'll apologize again, you know. And then once again, Porsha, you apologized, but then you sort of took it back. Well, she said this, that's what she said this about Simon. And she brought up Simon. I mean, I only said it because no, Porsha, no. No, Porsha, no. You didn't only bring it up because she said what she said about Simon. No, you didn't. Because y'all had been out there for hours drinking and talking shit. So if it was something that she said about Simon, you would have responded in that moment. Or it would have come up earlier. The fact that y'all were out there, as long as y'all were out there. Right, Brenda. I said he was arrested in court. I didn't say why he was arrested. I said he was arrested in court. I don't feel like what I said was different. I said he was arrested in court. Anyway, so yeah, it was just like, Porsha, girl, just stand in it. You said something, it was effed up. And with the history you have of stealing people's husbands, I mean, you only stole one, but with the history you have of stealing people's husbands, that probably wasn't the best thing for you to say out your mouth. Just admit it. Just admit that probably wasn't the best conversation for you to have. Child. He was arrested multiple times, and one time was because I thought that she said that he threatened her in court, and that I thought she said that. But listen, I ain't pulled the records, so it is what it is. But I thought that's what Kelly said. Last but not least, Angela starts getting into the issue she had with Phaedra. Now, I done already told y'all, if we crack the case, in my opinion, us and the tribe. Oh, okay. No, it's okay, Brenda. It's okay. You know, it's y'all. Sometimes when I'm reading the chat, I don't know y'all are talking to each other. I think sometimes. So no, you're fine, baby. You're fine. I'm reading the chat. I'm just reading the chat. Listen. At the end of the day, go back to my video I did on Angela and Phaedra and this whole situation. Y'all, we cracked the code. We cracked the code. In my opinion, I think Marcus and that other guy was in cahoots together. I think they cooked this up because they was trying to get on TV. And I don't think Porsha, I don't think Phaedra set Angela up, and I don't think that Angela set Phaedra up. I think that both of them at the time of this reunion were believing, Angela was believing what these guys told her about Phaedra, and Phaedra was believing what the guys told her about Angela, and that is where they are. I think those guys were in cahoots, and they set this whole damn thing up, and honestly, I think Angela, unfortunately, you're the victim, and Phaedra, you're the victim. That's my opinion. That's how I feel about it, and that's my opinion. Exactly. I think Marcus, that's his other name, Alex. Thank you, Tiffany. I do. I believe Marcus and Alex, because they were on that other reality show where they used to date, that needed and they were a couple. They were on this reality show about a threesome or something, or my ex-boyfriend, whatever the show is, and they was fake on that show. Fake fighting and all that other stuff fighting. And Alex is married to the woman from the show and then had a whole baby. Well, you would think Phaedra would have learned her lesson. But again, I think that Phaedra was believing Alex when Alex, because when we went through the Alex telling his version of the story, and he said he reached out to Phaedra and told Phaedra, hey, this is what's happening. I think Phaedra felt like, okay, they're trying to set me up. I think they're trying to set me up. Do I have a mod over here? Let me find my video. I don't think I have a mod over here. Because we did that video, what? Last week, y'all? We did that video last week. Well, we went through all the different everybody's story, and Alex was telling his story. And when we got to the end of it, and we found out that Alex and Marcus, because Alex in her story, in his story, Alex was making it seem like that him and Marcus that Marcus was his boss. He never said nothing about him and Marcus being in a relationship. He never said nothing about him and Marcus knowing each other deeper than that. He made it seem like he's just my boss that invited me to this event, to this that we had seen Charles Oakley come into the restaurant with another woman. Now, mind you, that part of the story they've been able to confirm it can't even be true, because Charles wasn't even in town those alleged days. And they and production reached out to the restaurant and everything to try to get footage to try to confirm the story, and they can't find no footage. And then come to find out, they said, well, Charles was down here with his daughters, and that's not even what the story was. Charles wasn't even in town on the dates that they said he was down there. And come on now, they told Angela, well, Charles came in there with another woman, and they were sitting next to each other, and they were feeding each other, and they was being all lovey-dovey. First of all, we have seen Charles Oakley for a whole season. Do y'all think, and I ain't saying Charles is an angel. I'm not even saying Charles ain't cheating on Angela, because I don't know what that man do when he ain't around me, and he ain't never around me, okay? So I don't know what that man does. But what I am going to say is, I think he's smart enough that if he was going to cheat on Angela, he ain't going to do it in the belly of the beast right there in Atlanta, especially since he does travel so much for work. He could literally have a woman meet him in any city that he's traveling to, and I don't think he'd be dumb enough to be all booed up. And does Charles seem like the kind of person that be feeding somebody off of his plate? Dude, where my fork? Oh, I'm about to say I was just eating my dinner before I went live, but I already put my plate up. I was gonna say, where my fork at? Does Charles Oakley seem like the kind of person that's gonna be sitting in a restaurant, sitting next to some woman and feeding her off of his plate? Come on, y'all. The story didn't even sound like it made sense. Now, that's not, again, I ain't saying that Charles don't step out. I don't know. But I didn't believe that story. But I also, and y'all know I'm not even no Porsha fan, but I also don't believe that Porsha set it up. I just don't. Hey, y'all, boo. This might be the live. Don't get me the line. Oh, thank you, y'all. That might be it right there. Is it the one with Angela? It says, what's it? Angela set up. Did Angela set up Phaedra or something like that? Charles don't even go to restaurants. He cooks at home. Right. I could now I could see him getting a suite, like at a hotel that has a suite with a kitchen, and I could see him cooking for somebody and inviting her to his hotel room. Now I could see that. Now, somebody has said Charles had a woman come up to his hotel room and a fire got started because he was cooking and the flames got too high and set off the fire alarm, and there was a woman in there in the lingerie. Now, if that story had come out, I'd be kind of like, You know what I'm saying? Like, I can see Charles doing that, but no, I just don't see it. But again, and y'all know I don't even like Phaedra, so it would take a lot for me to, defend her. But on this one, I just don't, I ain't giving her this one. I'm sorry. I just don't, I don't think this was it. I just don't. I think these two I wish I still had the video. I just deleted the video out of my StreamYard so I could show y'all. But Alex told his story, and according to him, he worked for Marcus. Come to find out, him and Marcus was in a hole. Let me see if I can find that clip. Some of y'all didn't see the clip of Marcus and Alex together in their reality show. They filmed a whole reality TV show together. I don't know if I can find it. Tracy sent me the clip. Let me see if I can find it. Child. Me and Tracy be talking all the time. Let me see if I can scroll up and find it, child. Let me see how far I gotta scroll back. Child. Hold on. Give me a second. Nope, that ain't it. Oh, Lord. How far back I gotta scroll? Here it is right here. So, okay. Thank you, y'all. That's it right there. This is it right here. Now, listen. For those of y'all who are new or wasn't here, thank you, Yabu. For those of y'all who wasn't here when we talked about it, Alex is the other guy that's in that scene when they showed a clip of Drew and Angela meeting up with Marcus. And he told him that Phaedra was the one that set him up. Alex is the dark-skinned guy that's in that clip, right? So Alex was down on Instagram telling his story, or TikTok telling his story. So we went through his story, right? He has 4 parts. At least last time I checked, it was 4 parts. We watched the 3 parts, right? Then we looked at what Marcus had to say. But then we found this. Child. My finger hit the wrong button. This is it right here. That's Marcus. That's Alex. There's Marcus. There's Alex. And that's their reality show that they filmed on TLC. Talk about You, Me. It's called You, Me, and My Ex. They ain't say nothing about being ex-boyfriends and filming a whole reality show together. So that's when I said, oh, no, they set this up. Sorry, not sorry. So Phaedra, as much as I don't want to clear you, girl, I got to clear you on this one. But Angela, unfortunately, you got set up. You got caught up in the rope-a-dope, in the okey-doke. So Angela and Phaedra both have storylines next season because they can get to the bottom of this and clear the air, child. I don't know. But anyway, that was pretty much the episode right there. Tomorrow, you guys, we will be at the Citadel for the Whether You Like It or Not panel. We will all be talking about all of the things. You can get to hear other people's point of view on it. If you guys are not, y'all put your channel in the chat, please. Y'all, we will be at Socrates' house tomorrow for the reunion. I thought it was Phaedra at first, but after Really B's breakdown, not anymore. Angela and Phaedra are victims of Marcus. Thank you, Tiffany. Because listen, I thought y'all know I thought Phaedra was guilty too, y'all. Porsha can't even drive that car. Why Porsha can't drive the car, Miss Foodie? Why? She let the tags expire or something? Why she can't drive the car? If y'all are not already subscribed to y'all, make sure y'all get subscribed and meet me there tomorrow at 8:30 on the dot. Y'all know when we at y'all's house, we don't be late. We are not late when we are at y'all's house. The music will be starting at 8:30 on the dot, okay? And he don't care if ain't nobody backstage but him and Jasmine. He don't care if nobody is backstage but him and Jasmine. For those that don't know, Jasmine is his dog. He don't care if it's just the 2 of them. He gonna hit that button at 8:30, okay? So meet me there tomorrow at 8:30, you guys. Divorced Wives. Lord, Divorced Wives. Divorced Sisters episode 2 review will be uploaded tonight. See, episode 3, it's 10 o'clock. I'm probably not gonna record that tonight. I'll probably record that tomorrow. I'm gonna watch episode 4 tomorrow. Maybe episode 5, depending on my time. But we will be caught up by the time episode 7 drops. And I want to do a live for episode 7 so we can just talk about everything that has happened. Okay. Big Brother. I'm about to watch it literally when I get off of here. I'm going to watch Big Brother. So be on the lookout for that review tomorrow. Love and Marriage. Real Housewives of Miami. That'll be later on this week. And yeah, there's that. Wait a minute. The car's leased in Simon's name and he won't sign. That don't have nothing to do with her driving it though. She been driving it with it in his name. She been driving a car with the car leased in his name. So I don't understand why she can't drive it now. What's different? Why she can't drive it now? Oh no, that's a different conversation. The tags expired, then yeah, that's a different conversation. Well, like I said, I told y'all before. Did I not tell y'all that? Did I not tell y'all that when they announced that Porsha and everybody was like, oh, Porsha hit a lick, Porsha hit a lick. What did I tell y'all? Did I not tell y'all, if y'all think Simon is getting ready to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do by Porsha, I got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell y'all. I got a gold mine in Nigeria to sell y'all. If y'all think that Simon about to give Porsha $40,000 a month, pay for the upkeep on that house, pay the mortgage on that house, if he won't even get them tags renewed, what make y'all think he about to give Porsha $40,000 a month? Now, if he was still living here in the United States, that might be a different conversation. He is in Dubai. Do y'all think he's thinking about giving Porsha a mother thing? Now, I'll be shocked. I'm not saying he won't do it. I will be shocked if Simon pays Porsha for the next 14 months, anything. The only way I could see Simon doing it is because Simon is trying to get back in the country. You see, he was trying to get a pardon from Donald Trump. And I think if he feels like doing right by Porsha is going to get him back in the country, he might do it. But other than that, he ain't about to give Porsha no money. Absolutely not. Sean, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't understand why she can't renew them tags without him. But again, I've never leased a car. So I don't know if it's different that you have to, I don't know what's different. I know here, I know up here, I can renew my tags online and all I need is, my tag number. They don't even, like, I don't even have to show any ID or anything. All I literally have to do is put my tag number in, make sure I don't have any outstanding tickets, and pay the fee, and they send me my registration. Now, again, Georgia might be different, and it might be different to lease a vehicle. I've never leased a vehicle, so I don't know what proof or paperwork you need when you lease a vehicle. I just don't know. I don't know. I mean, I just renewed my driver's license online, and I literally only had to type in my old driver's license number. They didn't ask they don't even know if it was really me renewing my driver's license. Like, I literally just went online and did it online and paid the fee, and they mailed me my driver's license. I didn't have to go down there and do shit. So I don't know what the difference is when you lease a car. So there may really be a difference when you lease a car. But I know when you paying a car note, you can do it online. But again, when you lease a car, it might be and in Georgia, it may be different because every state is different. Because this is the first time I've been able to renew my driver's license online. The last time I renewed the last 2 times I renewed my driver's license, I had to go down there and actually take the eye exam and do all of that all over again. This time, I literally just went online, put in my driver's license number, paid the fee, and they, voila. Anyway, y'all, let me get out of here. Can a judge give Porsha Simon's business in Atlanta? Why would a judge do that? To my knowledge. Now, I know I ain't nobody's attorney, but to my knowledge, no. Why would a judge do that? The judge is only going to enforce the prenup. The reason why they were arguing is because Simon wanted the prenup to be thrown out. So the judge ruled that they're going to uphold the prenup, and that's why the divorce went through. So that has nothing to do with Simon's business. Tags are issued to the address. So they mail it to the address. Unless you tell them a different the tags, everything would go to the ad. So if the address on that, see, when it's leased, it's different because I guess if it's leased, it goes to the dealer. Because technically, Porsha nor Simon own the car. If it's a lease, I think everything goes to the dealer. So maybe that's why. Again, I don't know what's different from a lease because I've never leased a car. But I know with a lease, the dealer still owns it. So I guess everything will go to the dealer. Hey, Uncle Jay. Anyway, I hate it for you, Porsha. But if it's a leased vehicle, she only had it until the end of the lease anyway. If the car is leased, she only had it for, I mean, most people lease a car for what? How long? Again, I've never leased a car, so I don't know. I know people who have leased cars. So a lease is usually a couple of years. So she's already had that car like a year, like 2 years already, right? So the lease might get right. The I don't know. Listen, don't give me the line. But I know with a lease, okay, a 3-year lease. So that car, the lease is almost up. She got to get a car back anyway. He didn't buy the car, he leased the car, which means she got to give it back anyway at the end of those 3 years. Or she can make the option to buy it. But why would you buy it? Sean said, I'm in Detroit. I lease the same. It comes to me in the mail. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know what's going on. I don't know Porsha. I don't know what she is or what she isn't doing. But as far from my understanding, I don't know why she can't renew the tags just because Simon ain't here. I don't know why she can't, unless Simon was preemptive. Now, Simon, listen, I don't put anything past Simon, and I don't put anything past him being petty. Simon may have already gone to the DMV and changed everything at the DMV, changed the address so none of it's coming to that house anymore. Now, I can see that. If the mail's not coming to that house and Porsha don't know what's going on with the car, then I can see that she would, but anyway, that's y'all. We going deep into the woods, child. We going deep into the woods. I don't watch The Gilded Age, but I want to. That's one of the shows that I said I wanted to start watching and I never did. I see Felicia Rashad is going to be on next season. So I do want to. I don't watch it, but I do want to. The tags are sent to the leasing company sometimes, but usually it's mailed to the person's address who's leasing the car. Yeah, I don't know why Porsha can't get them damn tags. But again, if it's in Simon's name, he's probably already gone to the DMV and changed everything. Are there any benefits to leasing a car? I'd rather take that money and make monthly payments so I can fully own the vehicle when it's paid off. Well, honestly, it depends on what your needs are. It depends on who you are, what type of driver you are, and what your needs are. The biggest thing for me when it comes to a lease is the mileage, because you're only allowed to do a certain, at least this is how it used to be. You're only allowed to put a certain amount of miles on the car per year, and if you go over that, you have to pay for that mileage. Leases, I mean, I guess it's all about preference. I guess it's the difference between buying a house and getting an apartment, or buying a condo, or buying a townhouse. It's just about your preference. One of the biggest advantages to a lease is you can switch out your car every 3 years. When you see people that always have a new car, there you go. You know what I mean? People who have 3 and 4 cars and they always have the newest car, or whatever. I guess that's the advantage, is that you could just switch out after 3 years, Oh, she's on now. Oh, okay. You don't have to. Okay, Sean said an advantage is you don't have to pay repairs. Okay. Okay. Yeah, but I think it's all about personal preference. I don't think there's any good or bad. I think it's just about where you are, and what it is that you're trying to do. Because like I said, I've had friends that had leases and they loved it. I've had friends that had leases and they not so much. So Melly said, I always have to pay the mileage, but I don't care. Yeah. All right, y'all, let me get up off of here so I can watch Big Brother, and then I'm going to bed. I got some errands to run tomorrow. So I stayed in the bed this morning. I stayed in bed till almost noon. I just laid down. I didn't feel like getting out the bed, and I didn't. I'm in the market, so y'all are preparing for me. Yeah, I mean, just do the research, China White. Just do the research and figure out what the pros and cons are, and figure out what works best for your lifestyle. I had a cousin who always leased their cars because they took the subway to work. I mean, they worked in downtown DC, and they took public transportation to work every day. They only drove their car on the weekends. Literally, their car sat in a garage Because they had an actual garage at their house, and literally their car sat in the garage Monday through Friday. Minus, if they came home from work and maybe they wanted to go to the grocery store, they ran a couple of errands, but for the most part, they didn't move their car. So at least worked for them because they weren't going to put a whole lot of mileage on it. And every 3 years, they just got a new car, and it was something for them to drive on the weekends. And you know what I mean? So there it is. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Peace. Good night.